Welcome to today's video. In this video, I'm going to look at corresponding element in matrices. Corresponding elements in matrices. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, we invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel and also invite your friends to subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you find this video helpful, remember to like it and also share with your friends. With that being said, let's get into this lesson. Okay, so in today's lesson, we're going to look at corresponding elements in matrices. Okay, so what we're going to do, first of all, we're going to describe or define what are corresponding elements. So corresponding elements are elements that occupy the same position in different matrices. Corresponding elements are elements that occupy the same position in different matrices. Okay, so that is the definition of corresponding elements. Okay, so now let's see how we can identify corresponding elements in different matrices. Okay, so let's identify corresponding elements in given matrices. Okay, these are the given matrices. Okay, and that is the question: list corresponding elements. So that's what we asked. So matrices can be a pair, like I have done. I've just given a pair of matrices in each example, but they can also be more than two. They can be three or even four. You can compare these, even if there are many or they are just two, there are more than two, you can still compare them. Okay, so now we're going to use just pairs to compare so that we can fully understand, but the same knowledge, the same ideas being applied are the same ideas you can apply even if they are 10 or 100. Okay, so let's start with the example 1. Example 1, we have got matrix C, which is 2, 6, and matrix D, which is 1, 3. Okay, so now we want to list the corresponding elements. Okay, before we go into listing them, let's try to understand what it may be the relationship between these two matrices. So, or try to identify elements that are corresponding. Then we're going to list them later. Okay, so I'm going to write in weights. So matrix 2 is corresponding with matrix 1. Now, what it means here is that these two elements, not really matrix 2, it's supposed to be element 2 is corresponding to element 1 in D. Element 2 in C is corresponding with element 1 in D. What it means is that these two elements are occupying the same position in different matrices. Okay, these two elements are occupying the same position in different matrices. So we can say element 2 or 2 in matrix C is corresponding with 1 in matrix D. Okay, so element, or you can say 2 in matrix C is corresponding with 1 in matrix D. 2 in matrix C is corresponding with 1 in matrix D. Okay, we can also say 6 is corresponding with 3 in matrix 6 in matrix C is corresponding with 3 in matrix D. So this is what I'm saying. I'm saying 6 in matrix C is corresponding with 3 in matrix D. Okay? Knowing elements that corresponds will help us when we are dealing with addition and subtraction. So you need to be conversant with corresponding elements in matrices. So this will help us when we start adding and subtracting matrices. Okay? So these are the corresponding elements in these two matrices. I'm not going to list them yet. Let me also talk about corresponding elements in example 2. So let me just mark there, okay, so that I can separate the two questions. So in here we have got matrix S and matrix R. So 2 is corresponding to 6. 2 is corresponding to 6. So which means we can say 2 in S is corresponding to 6 in matrix R. 2 in matrix S is corresponding to 6 in matrix R. We can also say 3 is corresponding to 7. 3 in matrix S is corresponding to 7 in matrix R. So we can say 3 in matrix S is corresponding to 7 in matrix R. Okay, I'm pretty sure now you have understood the concept, the idea, how you can identify corresponding elements. Now let's go into listing them. I'm not going to do the third one. The third one is, I hope you viewers at the light stage, you are going to work it out, and then later on we'll work it together out. Okay, so let's go back now to example 1. Now let's start listing them because the question is asking us to list. Okay, here in these statements I've just mentioned, now we want to list them. Okay, so we can say 2 and 1, they are corresponding, so we can list them as, okay, let me just reduce, okay, so 2 and 1, they are corresponding, then we can say, we can list them as these in this set, which is 2, 1. Now we have listed the corresponding elements 2 and 1. We can also list 3 or 6 and 3 like this. Okay, now we have listed corresponding elements in these two matrices. Okay, so 2 and 1, they are corresponding. 6 and 3, they are also corresponding. Okay, they are in different matrices, but they occupy the same position. Now, if you are not conversant with the position of elements in matrices, check in the description box. I have put the link there. Watch that video where I taught about position of elements in a matrix. Position of elements in a matrix. That video will make it easier for you to understand this topic. Okay, now let's go back to example 2. Now we can say in example 2, we can say 2 is corresponding to 6. So 2 is corresponding to 6, so we can list them as 2, 6. And 3 is corresponding to 7, so we can list them as 3, 7. Then 4 is corresponding to 2, we can say 4, 2, and 1 is corresponding to 9. Okay, so those are the corresponding elements in these two matrices. Okay, so these are corresponding sets of elements of these two matrices. Okay, I urge you viewers to pause this video and try to identify corresponding elements in the third example. identify corresponding elements in the third example. Please, let's continue practicing. Maths is made easier through practicing. So just pause the video and try to find or identify the corresponding elements in these two matrices. I hope you pause the video and you tried to solve these. You tried to identify the corresponding elements of these two matrices. Now let's identify corresponding elements together of these two matrices. Okay, so I'm not going to write the statements and I'm not going to circle, because circling was just there to make it easier for you to understand. Now let's try to identify the corresponding elements in these two matrices without circling or writing the statement. Okay, so A is corresponding with the X, so we can make a set of A comma X, because A and X, they are occupying the same position but in different matrices. T and Y are also corresponding because they are occupying the same position in different matrices. H and Z, they are also corresponding because they are occupying the same position in different matrices. So C and D, they are also corresponding. F and E and I and Q, they are corresponding. Then I and W, then K and I, as well as V and O, they are corresponding. So these are the corresponding elements of these given matrices in 3. So basically, this is how you can identify corresponding elements in the given matrices. It is easier when you know how to identify position of elements in the given matrix. So I have put a link in the description box which will take you to the video where I talked about position of elements in a given matrix. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this video helpful, remember to like it and also share with your friends. And we also urge you to subscribe if you have not yet subscribed to our YouTube channel. Thank you so much for watching. God bless you.